The Catherian Empire had ruled the Outer Rim for 3 centuries, and their capital world of Nexus Prime served as a grotesque monument to their dominance. The towering spires of the Imperial Palace were adorned with the preserved remains of conquered species. Skulls, claws, and other anatomical trophies displayed like macabre artwork across crystalline walls. Commander Zaxthul admired his latest acquisition as he mounted it in the Hall of Extinction. The severed head of the last Andromedian elder, its 6 eyes now clouded and lifeless. The Catherians took pride in their hunting prowess, believing that displaying the remains of extinct civilizations demonstrated their evolutionary superiority. Another species consigned to history, Zaxthul mused to his aide, running a clawed appendage across the elder's cranial ridges. The Andromedians lasted longer than most, almost 2 full cycles before we harvested their homeworld completely. The aide chittered in agreement. The humans should prove more entertaining, Commander. Intelligence reports suggest they have spread across multiple systems. It will take considerable effort to hunt them all down. Zaxthul's mandibles clicked with anticipation. Humanity had recently made contact with the galactic community, and their rapid expansion had caught the Empire's attention. Unlike most species that cowered when the hunter fleets arrived, early encounters suggested humans possessed an unusual stubborn streak. This made them prime candidates for the trophy halls. What neither Zaxthul nor the Empire's vast intelligence network knew was that humanity had already begun studying them. While the Catherians saw first contact as the beginning of a new hunt, the humans viewed it as reconnaissance for something far more ambitious. 3 months after the initial meetings, a single human ship requested permission to dock at Nexus Prime under the pretense of diplomatic negotiations. The vessel was small, unremarkable, piloted by someone who identified himself simply as Collector. The man who disembarked was tall and lean, with weathered features and cold gray eyes that seemed to catalog everything they saw. He wore simple black clothing and carried what appeared to be an ornate walking staff. The Catherian guards escorted him through the palace, past countless displays of extinct civilizations. Impressive collection, the human said, his voice carrying no emotion as he examined a wall of Zealothi warrior masks. You've been busy, Zaxthul preened at what he assumed was admiration. Indeed, each piece represents a conquered world, a species that dared challenge Catherian superiority. Soon we'll add human artifacts to our displays. The man called Collector stopped before a case containing the crystallized hearts of the Vorthon people. These belong to the Vorthons? The last breeding pair, Zaxthul confirmed proudly. We hunted them across 7 systems before cornering them on their sacred moon. Their hearts still beat for nearly an hour after extraction. Collector nodded slowly as if filing away the information. And the Sithari bone fragments over there? From their high priestess. She claimed her people's spirits would have revenge. Zaxthul's laughter was like grinding metal. We've been waiting 2 centuries for that prophecy to manifest. The diplomatic meeting proceeded formally, with the human asking detailed questions about Catherian culture, their expansion policies, and their trophy collection practices. He seemed particularly interested in the locations where each species had made their final stand. When the session concluded, Collector was escorted back to his ship. The Catherians were pleased with the humans' apparent deference and began planning their assault on Earth and the other human colonies. They never noticed that their guest had left several small devices hidden throughout the palace. The hunter fleet launched 6 weeks later, expecting to find scattered human settlements ripe for harvesting. Instead, they encountered empty colonies and booby-trapped installations. Every human world had been evacuated, leaving behind only automated defense systems and recorded messages. Looking for us? Came a voice over every ship's communication system simultaneously. It was Collector. We've gone hunting. The revelation came in stages as reports flooded back to Nexus Prime. Human ships, sleek and deadly, had appeared at the former homeworlds of every species in the trophy halls. But they weren't there to conquer. They were there to retrieve. On Vorthon Prime, human archaeological teams worked alongside ghostly figures that the Catherian sensors couldn't properly register. The Vorthon spirits, it seemed, had indeed found their revenge, in partnership with a species that refused to let the dead stay buried. The Zealothi masks were reclaimed from the ruins of their shattered moon, carried away by humans who seemed to know exactly where each sacred artifact belonged. The Andromedian Elder's crystallized essence was reverently extracted from its former shrine and transported to a massive human vessel that appeared to be some sort of mobile memorial. As each trophy was recovered, something impossible happened. Energy signatures began emanating from the human ships that matched the extinct species. The Sithari priestess's bone fragments sang with renewed power. The Vorthan hearts resumed their ancient rhythm. The Zalathi masks once again blazed with protective wards. Zaxthul watched his trophy halls empty as automated systems, activated by collectors' hidden devices, carefully packaged each artifact and launched them toward human recovery ships that seemed to anticipate exactly when and where they would arrive. "Impossible," he snarled. "The dead cannot return." But Collector's voice echoed through the palace speakers. "You collected trophies. We collect souls. Every species you hunted to extinction lives on in human memory, human archives, human hearts. Did you really think we'd let you keep murdering civilizations?" The final phase of the operation was the most audacious. Human ships materialized around Nexus Prime itself, not to conquer but to perform the galaxy's largest heist. Using technology that seemed to blend human engineering with recovered alien science, they systematically extracted every trophy from the palace. When it was over, the Catherian Empire's seat of power stood hollow, its halls empty of their macabre decorations. But across the galaxy, on carefully tended memorial worlds, the artifacts of 100 species found new homes among humans who remembered their stories and honored their sacrifice. The Hunter Empire still existed, but their greatest hunt had ended in an unthinkable reversal. They had become the trophy, not killed but stripped of everything that defined their supremacy. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, a man called Collector updated his files and began planning the next recovery mission. After all, the galaxy was full of hunters who had mistaken murder for strength. They would all learn eventually that humans collected more than just trophies. They collected justice.